Check out this sweet picture. It's a little girl in Japan, back in 1958, having a blast pretending to talk on the telephone. Doesn't she look like she's having fun? In the year 1880, Myrtle Corbin was born. She was a dipygus, which means she had 2 separately functioning pelvises and 4 legs. Despite that, she got married and had 5 children. Here's what it looks like after a tough firefighting job in extreme winter conditions. This is what was left of the Eureka building in Chicago back in 1920. Here's a photo of the chilling exorcism of Anneliese Michel. All right, check this out. This photo shows a hairdryer from the 1920s. Here's a shot from 1942 showing the Ford strikers' riot. So here we are, on a balcony in Paris. It looks like a refreshing break with family. This Parisian family is trying to cool off during the heat wave of the summer of 1937. Ah, what a lovely scene. This is not something you see every day. Looks like they're celebrating Take Your Donkey to Work Day in New York City back in 1956. Pretty wild. Here's a photo of some miners known as Bevan Boys. They were working in the Markham Colliery in Yorkshire, England back in 1943. These guys were young British men who were drafted to work in the coal mines after the start of the Second World War. Here's a charming photo from the 1890s. We've got 2 gentlemen here, and they're with their absolutely delightful dog. And check this out. He's even sporting a double walking stick. Isn't that something? Here's a picture of the National Council of Negro Women Committee. It was taken in 1954. Here's a shot of the Swedish supermodel, Lisa von Sagrives, posing in front of the Eiffel Tower. This was back in 1939. Alabama Governor George Wallace standing right at the doorway of the University of Alabama. He's protesting integration. This was on June 11, 1963. All right, school's out. This photo was taken way back in Bucota, Washington, in the year 1942. All right, check this out. This photo shows a public men's toilet. It was taken in France way back in the 1920s. A group of female guards. These women were on duty at the Naval Ordnance Plant, which was being run by the Hudson Motor Car Company in Detroit, Michigan. They're learning how to sight guns. This photo was taken on August 7, 1942. Back in 1975, a MiG-21 fighter jet went down, crashing into an apartment building in East Germany. It was due to a mechanical failure. Here's a picture of Smokey the dog, relaxing in a helmet. It was taken around 1943. Here's a shot from London back in 1962. An inflatable model of the American M4 Sherman tank. Check it out. These are US soldiers in 1942 getting a lesson. They're practicing the chin pull method. That's how you save someone from drowning. And they're doing it in full gear. Gotta be ready for anything, right? It's a picture of the future 32nd President of the United States, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, with his cousin. This was taken way back in 1910. This is Judith Love Cohen. She's the mother of actor Jack Black. And get this, she actually helped design the abort guidance system. That was a super important piece of tech that helped the Apollo 13 astronauts get back to Earth safely. Incredible, right? This photo was taken around 1959. Here's a photo of a woman, probably goofing around while taking some pictures. It's from the late 1800s, so a really old photograph. Melba. Wow, she was hotter than the weather. A dramatic scene. It looks like the Cliff House Hotel in San Francisco is on fire. This picture was taken way back in 1907. Here's a picture from 1942, where women are getting creative. They're painting their legs to look like they're wearing stockings. Okay, check out this shot. It's packed with people. You can see beachgoers as far as the eye can see. But in the foreground, there are two swimmers, maybe a little more, lightly dressed if you catch my drift. This was taken in Coney Island back in 1966. Picture it. The sun, the sand, and the bustling crowd. And the photographer? That was Dan Farrell from the New York Daily News. A plate steel spiral casing. This one was built for a 70,000 horsepower Niagara Falls hydraulic turbine unit. It was made by the Alice Chalmers Manufacturing Company in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, around 1920. Here's a cool old photo of a milk vending machine. It's from London, England, way back around 1931. Here's a photo of Edward Burstow's pentacycle. It's nicknamed the hen and chickens cycle because of its unusual design. You can see a postman putting it through its paces, trying to navigate the uneven roads of Sussex. This was all the way back in 1882 in Horsham, England. Here's a photo taken in New York back in 1919. It shows a huge pyramid made entirely of captured German helmets. Wow, what a powerful image from the aftermath of World War I. Here's a picture of a canine caddy. It was taken on the 21st of November, 1931. This is Vera White at the Surbiton Golf Club, and check out her dog Barney. He's acting as her caddy. Here's a cool piece of tech history. This is the Toshiba Viewphone, and it let people actually see each other while they talked. Imagine that. It was released way back in 1968. To promote his movie Frenzy, Alfred Hitchcock did something pretty wild. He announced he was coming back home to London from Hollywood by floating a lifelike mannequin of himself in the Thames River back in 1972. Here's a picture that really hits you. It's a young boy, all alone, clutching a stuffed animal. You can just feel the weight of the world on his shoulders. This photo perfectly captures the emotional toll of post-war London. It was taken in 1945. Here's a cool old photo. It shows geishas in a three-wheeled vehicle, and it was taken in Tokyo way back in the 1920s. Here's a heartwarming picture of a young woman, probably writing a letter to her sailor. It's such a lovely scene. Here's what women's bathing suits looked like in the early 1900s. During World War II, a guy named Gilbert Bradley fell in love and wrote a whole bunch of letters to his sweetheart. The person he was writing to would always sign the letters with the initial G. Now, 70 years later, we learned that the G was short for Gordon. Here's a cool old photo. This snowman is standing on a Soviet scale. It looks like it was taken in the USSR, back in the late 1960s. This is a really cool photo from around 1917. It shows a frozen fountain on Washington Boulevard in Detroit. Here's a scene from East End, London in 1949. You see children playing in a pretty rough area, but what really grabs you is the laundry hanging above them. It's perfectly clean, a real testament to the pride and resilience of the people, even in the toughest of times. Here's a funny one. This photo shows Queen Victoria completely photobombing her son's wedding picture. This was taken in 1863, and you can see her sitting right in the middle of the happy couple. She's wearing a full mourning dress and staring at a bust of her dead husband. Talk about a dramatic entrance. Here's a photo from 1943 showing a lineup of women welders. You can see them all standing together, and among them is the women's welding champion from Ingalls Shipbuilding Corporation, which was based in Pascagoula, Mississippi. This is a cool shot! Check out this early use of a selfie stick, back in the 1940s. Feeling the winter blues, huh? This photo shows a guy using a flamethrower to melt the snow and clear a path. It's pretty wild. This was way back in 1947 on Governor's Island. I bet he was tired of shoveling. Here's a photo from the VJ Day Parade in 1945. This is a photograph of Victoria Amazonskia in the Philippines, taken in 1935. Check out this old photo. It's from around 1920 and shows two women on treadmills. Pretty cool, right? The Woolworth Tower in New York, just piercing through the clouds. It's an old photo taken back in 1928. This is a fascinating glimpse into the Prague Castle archives from the 1940s. We see a woman carefully examining some giant books. It's a really interesting look at history, isn't it? Here's a photo of Rosa Parks sitting at the front of a bus. This was taken around 1965 after the transit company ended racial segregation. Here's a shot of an early morning train in Japan, taken way back in 1964. It's Stevie Wonder visiting a school for blind children in London. This was back in 1970. Here's a photo of the Three Jolly Sisters in Failsworth, Greater Manchester from the 1970s. This amazing old photo shows a group of cab drivers way back in New York City in 1900. They're all gathered in front of Madison Square Garden. It's a real look back in time. This photo shows Indian athlete Louis Tuanima. He actually won a cup back in 1911. Here's a photo of Billy the Kid taken in 1880. Here's a shot of Umbrella Rock on Lookout Mountain in Tennessee. This picture was taken sometime in the 1900s. Check this out. Here's Comet, an elephant from Chessington Zoo, getting ready for a busy weekend. Believe it or not, he's working as a waiter. And where's he working? At the Trocadero restaurant in Piccadilly Circus, right in London. This snapshot was taken around 1938. Here's a shot of the New York Times newsroom, back in 1942. Here's a photo from 1937 showing a group of young Soviet kids. They're all wearing gas masks, probably taking part in a war preparation exercise. It's a pretty intense image. Here's a cool blast from the past. This photo features Carrie Fisher, Paul Simon, and Shelley Duvall, all the way back in the 1970s. Here's a shot called Death Dive, taken on the 1st of August, 1930. You see a stuntman getting ready to go, taking off in a specially designed plane right there at Alexandra Palace in London. This is Sergeant Karen Hermiston, or Hermie as she was known. She was incredibly courageous and determined. She earned a place in Canadian history as the only official female photographer for the armed forces to work in the midst of combat during World War II. Here's a fun one. It's a photo from 1925 showing a very dapper dog trying to sneak past a security guard, and the location, none other than the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer studio. This photo captures Jimi Hendrix absolutely killing it at California's Monterey International Pop Festival. That was back on June 18, 1967. It was a huge gathering, with tens of thousands of hippies and other music fans all coming together. This event really helped put the 1960s counterculture movement on the map. Here's a photo of Marlon Brando with author James Baldwin at the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. This was back on August 28, 1963. Here's a photo from February of 1939. It shows packing house workers at a migrant labor camp near Canal Point, Florida. You can see some of them came from Missouri and Arkansas. Sadly, there was no water, no light, and no sanitary facilities available at the camp. Here's a photo of 18-year-old Alice Roosevelt with her long-haired chihuahua named Leo. This was taken way back in the year 1902. Even dogs were welcome at the alligator farm, back in California in 1921. This is Nikola Tesla, the naturalized American physicist. This photo was taken in 1899, and he's sitting in his Colorado Springs laboratory. He's with his magnifying transmitter, and if you look closely, you can see this picture was taken between 1856 and 1943. Here's a neat old photo. It shows a Unimate robot serving coffee back in 1967. All right, check this out. This incredible photo shows a lunch break on a skyscraper in New York City back in the year 1932. Can you imagine having your lunch way up there?